Hello and welcome to the United Stand. First of all, I make no apologies for today. We're all grown-ups, we're all from the United family, and United prides itself on having different opinions. I had my say yesterday about Louis van Gaal. I want to speak to my guests about it. At the end of the day, I lost patience yesterday. I stand by what I say. People say it's fickle. Fickle is somebody who, changes the mind here and there. We've been consistent about Fellaini, and I will be consistent about Louis van Gaal now. I have serious concerns about him. I'm not asking for him to be sacked, though. Hopefully Martin will join us in a minute. He was here, and I've made a technical error. Got Kevin Martin. I'm going to go straight to Kev. What's your thoughts on Louis van Gaal at the moment? Where do you stand, Kev?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned, especially after that yesterday, where we're at the stage where, you've got to weigh up how much money he spent and the promises that we had. It was at the start, it was 3 months, and we'll start to see his philosophy and his way of thinking kick into the team. And then he changed that and said it's going to take a bit longer. And he seems to be drawing out a bit longer than what he thought it was going to be. And if you look at the argument, he spent 150 million on proven talent, and on paper that team should be challenging for the title. Now, I know I got slagged off a bit a while ago when we were, sitting up in third place. And there was talk of us going for the title. And when I said, listen, let's be realistic, top four would be good enough, people were saying that I was being negative. Now, I was being realistic. And yesterday's result and the way the results have panned out, now, we're sitting in fourth place. And questions, it's only right for a supporter now to be asking questions of Louis van Gaal. It doesn't make you any less of a supporter. It was like last year, people started questioning more, back the manager. Of course I support, I back the manager, and I want him to do well. I still think he will come good, but if you're judging him over this short period of time, I personally think let's wait until the end of the season and see where we are. We never know. We could have an FA Cup in the trophy cabinet, and we could have secured top four. But the flip side is, if we get knocked out of the FA Cup and we finish outside the top four, Louis van Gaal has to be judged on the money he spent this season. Yeah, it's only a short space of time over a year, but I can't think of any other, club in world football that would back somebody so heavily. And if they didn't, bring success, or I'm sure the bottom line would have been the Champions League qualification. Now, if he doesn't make that, which before the season started, I'm sure the majority of supporters would have thought we would have, then he has been a failure.
Yeah, the one thing that's been annoying me most, and I'll come to you now, Alex, is this. There's loads of people on Twitter. I've put it out a couple of times, and it's pretty much in favour of. I've basically said, "Do you trust Louis van Gaal?" And pretty much people do. But you get the same stupid comments, and I will call them stupid because there was a couple of channels yesterday who were saying you're an idiot if you think Louis van Gaal's the man, and they've totally changed their stance today because they're all about likes and subscribers. We won't do that on this channel. We'll listen to everybody, and we're not abusive, but we will give our opinion. And if you don't agree with it, get comments in there because we will be going through with it. But this 2 losses in 20 games thing really does make me laugh. I think from the last 10 games, we've taken, 16 points. Not good enough anyway for Manchester United, but when you look at the fixtures, which have been Swansea, Burnley, West Ham, QPR, Leicester, Southampton, Stoke, Tottenham, Newcastle, Villa, supposedly easy games, and we've let a 10-point lead on Liverpool go and a 5-point lead on Arsenal go. And I tell you what, March is going to be terminal. But Alex, where do you stand on Louis van Gaal?
I think it would be pointless to sack him. I definitely don't want to sack him. He just baffles me. I thought at the start of the season, like everyone, that we would absolutely walk top four, especially when Liverpool were really messing up at the start of the season. But if you just watch them play and watch us play, I don't really think they have that many good players, but they're how they play. Whereas on paper, we have a much, much better team, yet we play a lot worse. It's he just some things that baffle me. It's like watching Moyes all over again. I don't understand his substitutions. Yesterday, I know people may say, "Oh, keep RVP on because he's a striker and all that." But when he took Shaw off for Young, I get that he's trying to push everyone forward, but we just look so much better when we have attacking wingers and attacking fullbacks. It's what Man United have done, not just for years. We've done it for decades. and it's always been successful for us against Burnley and against Preston.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at some of the comments there. Who knows, fifth or sixth with Southampton or Tottenham? Sadly, I can't see any other way unless there's a drastic change. I wouldn't disagree. And DJ Nelson says no top four, sack him. I disagree with that. Martin, who can't get with us, is judge LVG at the end of the season. He's been poor, but he shouldn't be sacked. I'll come back to you then, Kev. I mean, the thing for me is there's a few things I want to cover with Louis van Gaal before we get onto the Swansea game, and then we can come back to a few things as well. I mean, he did actually say himself that we forgot to score. But one thing that, you know, talking about fan opinion, because fan opinion is what this channel is all about, and we do listen to people, as I've said. But Louis van Gaal said something in the week about Paul Scholes, who's a legend. He said, oh, it's just a fan. It's just a fan, like as if a fan's opinion doesn't matter. You know, we've been fans of Manchester United, probably combined, the three of us, for, you know, over half a decade. Scholes has been brought up with it. What he said was absolutely valid, and you can't just. I think it's Manchester United. It's not Louis van Gaal United, is it?
No, and you touched on something a while ago, and the word was stubbornness, and that is what it seems to be at the minute. He's gone with tinkering with his side, and he still maintains that he doesn't know his best side. And you know, we're coming into the closing few months now of a Premier League season, and I know you can try and defend him and say we've had injuries. Yeah, we've had bad injuries. But we're only, what are we? I know Van Persie's injured now, but say yesterday, were Michael Carrick short of him, you know, being out of pick from this full squad of players?
Yeah.
And like I said before, on paper, this team looks fantastic. It looks brilliant, but it's just not. It's not working for some reason. And you know, is Van Gaal? Is his philosophy? Is his way of, you know, working this team? Is it just not getting over to the players? But he had backed down recently because, you know, he's playing Rooney up top now, and it was like, hallelujah, you know, we've been saying it for ages. Supporters can see it, you know. Oh, I'll play Herrera, you know, and Herrera the last couple of games, you know, he's playing well, and maybe, you know, if he just tinkers a little more now, all he needs to do is consistency. I'm no expert, but you know, all the great sides and the teams at the top of the league now are consistent week in, week out. And that's the only way that these players are going to, you know, learn each other's games. And you get into a rhythm then. You can't just keep upsetting the side by making changes. And these, like Alex said, some of the changes are just baffling. And that's what is hard to take at the minute.
I mean, Kenny Baxter's saying there, you younger guys don't remember the dark days of Division 2 football, McGuinness, Farrell. You know what? You're right, mate. You really are. But I do remember the days not too long ago of Sir Alex Ferguson, and I said we were spoilt, and we were. But we're not idiots. You know, I don't expect us to be winning the triple and winning the league every year, but I do expect a team that's had £150 million spent on it and to have the talent that it's got, that's been, I mean, we should be comfortably top four. And if somebody disagrees with that, get commenting, because I really want to see why you don't think we shouldn't be top four. Because for me, it was a given. Fourth place was a given, and he could still get it. And if he gets it, then fair play. That's what we needed. But I suppose, Alex, what I'm struggling here for is, what are the excuses? Kev's touched on it there. What excuses has he got left? The buck has to stop with him, doesn't it?
We have absolutely no excuses left. We have no excuses not to be beating the likes of Swansea and then like drawing away with Burnley. It's just our away form has been absolutely hideous. That's the thing, right? I'm just thinking off the top of my head, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've only beaten Southampton and Arsenal away from home, haven't we, in the league? And that everything else has been a draw or a loss. It's just been absolutely ridiculous. And I just think it basically, like Kev said, he just doesn't know his team. If you look at the likes of Chelsea, they play the exact same starting lineup in every single game. And I think that's what we've got to do. They're not going to like learn to play with each other, because you have to remember as well, it's all good like saying how much money we've spent, but these players need to like gel together. And when you're changing, like chopping and changing them every single week, you just have no consistency. I just think, like I said previously, about that we've always been based on wingers, and I think this season when we've played with wingers, we've looked a lot better. So I would just go with playing 4-2-3-1 and just stick with like Di Maria and Young on the wings, and then just have Rooney up front as a lone striker, because Falcao hasn't been cutting it recently. and neither has RVP. Like the amount, like we've, myself included, have defended them in the past, saying how they're not getting any chances to like put away. But he was getting so many chances yesterday, and he still wasn't hitting the target.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't agree with that. Link Sync says his team selection is baffling to say the least. Valencia, Smalling, and Young were exceptional against Preston, yet they were dropped for Swansea game. I'm going to list something here, Kevin. I'll come to you again about trying to find some excuses for him, really, because we want him to succeed. It's not a witch hunt. I don't think any of us are saying. Well, none of us are saying he should be sacked now at all. I never said that. I said he has to be given until the summer, as has Kev and as has Alex and as has everybody I've spoken to. We'll come to what will happen in the summer in a moment, but as I said, some of these excuses. Rooney, playing him out of position, that's his decision. Herrera, keeping him on the bench. Herrera's not match fit because he's been on the bench so long. Fellaini playing at the head of the midfield yesterday, don't understand it. Valencia being dropped, McNair playing and then having his confidence shot every time, being subbed off in the first half at Southampton and subbed off yesterday. He was totally exposed because of Louis van Gaal's tactics yesterday. Shaw had Di Maria helping him out. McNair had nobody, and then he gets subbed off at half time. It's just bad management for me. And then the consistent picking of Robin van Persie. I know I'll come back to Alex about Van Persie in a moment, but I'm struggling for excuses, Kev. I mean, we've got to try and find some, I suppose, but I think the team we had against Preston, it was almost like we were starting the season then, and then he made some silly selections again.
Yeah, like you say, personally, I think that the time has stopped for excuses. We're like I said, we're well into this season now, and yeah, we're on target to be in the top four. We are in the top four, but if we're going off the way we're actually playing football at the minute, I've gone from a couple of weeks ago being that confident that I said that if we didn't make top four, I'd wear a Fellaini rig to Old Trafford next season. And I'm getting very worried about it now because I was confident a few weeks ago. And the other teams around us now are actually starting to play. And we spoke about it, Arsenal, they're putting a run together. We knew they were going to be there anyway. So it does seem like it's this extra, this fourth place. Listen, we could put a run together on a positive note, and we could end up, finishing third, even fourth. I said I'd be happy with, but he's running out of excuses. He shouldn't have excuses at this stage of the season. And once he gets Michael Carrick back, I don't know the extent of Van Persie's injury, but he will. Even if Van Persie's out, it wouldn't be a huge loss. If anything, it could be a slight blessing in disguise because it gives Falcao the chance to get a run of games, and we all want to see Rooney and Falcao, or Rooney just in behind Falcao. Give him a run of 6 games, and let's see how they get on. But from now on, there is no excuses for Louis van Gaal.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew McLeod saying there, I think he's one of our new viewers, saying that it would be an absolute disgrace and it's inexcusable if Manchester United don't finish in the top 4. Totally agree with that, and we'll come on to it in a few minutes about why Louis van Gaal will definitely be sacked in the summer if we don't make top 4. A lot of people think that's not going to happen. Wake up, it will, and I'll cover that in a moment. But I want to give $3.99 on Amazon the Fellaini wigs, Kev. But I do want to give Alex his Robin van Persie moment. He has been saying it for weeks, as have some other people. This injury to him, could that be a blessing in disguise? It's almost as if Louis van Gaal is finding the team we know he should play by default.
I hate saying it because obviously 2 seasons back he was absolutely amazing for us, scoring every single game, saved us so many times. He literally basically carried us to that title. Obviously other people helped, but he was the main catalyst for all the success. But he just, I always just think that unless we're winning, he just doesn't look interested. And I don't know, and then he's just getting chance after chance and just keeps messing it up. So I think we should. I know I can always get told I'm biased towards Falcao, but we gave RVP a chance as a lone striker. Falcao played his entire career as a lone striker. So I think next game we should try maybe in the 4-3-1, then you can play Rooney at 10. And then play Falcao up top of his own. Because also a problem is, that I've noticed quite a lot, is that they run into each other's spaces when we're playing 2 up top. And as others in the comment section have said, and I completely agree with, no top team plays with 2 strikers. City do sometimes, but not like normally. And it's just, I just think it's such a dated formation to play 2 up front. He's just trying to get he's the main one that talks about balance. Yet he's always trying to get 2 strikers in, and I just don't see the point. So I think I would try Falcao in the next game against Sunderland up top on his own. If he does awful again, then I try either Rooney up top on his own or Wilson and just give them a run. Like I said, it's bad to I don't not wish badly, but bad to say about the blessing in disguise for RVP. But I really think it could be a blessing in disguise. But having said that, if we play really well without RVP, then I just think as soon as he's fit again, he's going to go straight back into the team. It's just that's going to be Van Gaal's biggest problem, is that he just refuses to drop RVP no matter how poorly he plays.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never wish injury on anybody at all. No, not at all. But I think it will be a blessing in disguise, and in a way, it could do with being 6 weeks to 2 months out. Because I think, but then does that solve the problem though? Does it? Because we're sort of getting the team we want for Manchester United by default, because Louis van Gaal can't pick the players that he wants to do it. I mean, Mo Keaton said there that we can get top 4 if he stops experimenting, which he's been doing all season. It's unbelievable. But we'll quickly get onto the Swansea game, Kev. I just wanted to ask you your thoughts on that. I mean, somebody tweeted put a message on one of my videos I did yesterday to say, "Oh, what would you have said if you're only saying this because we lost?" Obviously, what would you have said if we'd won? I would have said we were very lucky. But it's your minute or so, Kev. What was your thought on the game yesterday? I thought the Fellaini selection was particularly baffling, to play him as the creative force for Rooney and Robin van Persie when he's just not that sort of player. It was Mata every day for me.
Yeah, when you see Juan Mata sat on the bench, and again, to the fact that Van Persie had been out and he's straight back in the team, it's like he's trying to make a point to Falcao. I know he didn't have a great game against, Preston, but he sat in the stands, and it's like he's this stubbornness that he's trying to get across, but it's just not helping us at all. But the Swansea game yesterday, I'm not saying this with red tinted glasses on, but I certainly didn't think we deserved to lose the game. I thought we started very slowly, and when we took the lead, we're the makers of our own downfall sometimes. To concede a goal 2 minutes later in that fashion, defensively, it just shows we're frail again. Swansea are back in, and at half-time then, going into the second half, we had a great sort of 15-20-minute spell where I thought that the only team that was going to go on to win that match was United. And
Kev, sorry, Kev, I'll just butt in there for a moment and then come back to you. I totally agree with what you're saying there, but in that whole second half, we didn't have one shot on goal. We had loads of possession. I mean, I watched the game like many people did, and there was lots of nice little passing, but we looked clueless until they scored, and then we just went long ball again for Fellaini.
Yeah, and it's been the story of our season. It's almost like we've got to wait until the other team score before we up the pace. And I can't remember a time this season. We talk about the United of old, but this, the minute the whistle's blown from the first second of the match, we've just never gone at a team. And I know this is the way that Louis van Gaal plays, but it's almost like he writes off the first half. We wait to go into the second half before we've actually worked out what to do. And it's just not good enough with the players that we got on the field. But I think yesterday when, I hate John Joe Shelby anyway, but of all the people who score, it took a little, deflection on its way through. But at the end of the game, I did actually I totally agree. We weren't creating clear-cut chances. But all I'm saying is, I thought we were the only team out of the two that looked like we were going to win the game. And it's been the story of our season. I mean, how many times this season have we won a game that we did not deserve to win? And there must be 5, 6, maybe 7 games that we've been very, fortunate to win.
Yeah, I mean, I've just got to pick up on this comment before it goes off. Himotech X says Carrick should be replaced in the summer. I'm just going to say one thing to all you Carrick haters out there. We said it a couple of weeks ago. Blind was pretty average yesterday and was pretty average in the Burnley game before that. And it's very coincidental, isn't it, how we have our bad periods in the season when Michael Carrick's nowhere to be seen. So I think you all need to have a wake up, and it's not a coincidence. It never has been with Carrick. With what Kev was saying about Shelby there, I'm going to have to buy myself a new mouse because I chucked that on the floor yesterday when he scored, and it was exactly, why did it have to be that prick who scored it? I cannot stand the bloke. I mean, the Swansea game, I'll come to you, Alex. It was just, what I would say is, if anybody, Swansea should have been 2-0 up after the first 5 minutes. They had 2 very, very good chances.
Yeah, that is true, but it was like, compared to other away games, I thought that was probably... I didn't get nervous when it was 1-1 because I thought, as Kev said, that if any team was going to win it, it looked like it would be us. we just weren't hitting shots on target. But it seemed to me that we were actually getting in positions that we could have actually had chances. But like I said, I wasn't nervous. I thought it wasn't that bad of a performance, and it was a lucky deflected goal off Gomez. But as you said, they could have scored twice off their heads. Our marking was just absolutely diabolical. Like, that's probably one of the worst defensive performances we've put in all season. It was just absolutely shocking.
Yeah, I mean, Shaw got took off, didn't he? And that sort of split opinion. I mean, I think I'll just stay with you for a moment, Alex. I thought the substitutions, his tactical substitutions are awfully. You get 3, which I think is one too many in any football game, but he seems to waste 2. I mean, the McNair one was unnecessary. He shouldn't have played McNair. The Luke Shaw one, he was defensively quite bad, but it was a waste of time. It was, for me, it was like, I can't take Robin van Persie off. I can never take him off. So how do I get Ashley Young on, who deserved to come on? I know, I'll take Shaw off and put him at left back. And then again with the substitution, he took Di Maria off for Mata, which again I just didn't get.
Exactly, I was going to say that as well. Like, bearing in mind, so we get 3 substitutions, and he used 2 of them on fullbacks. What other top manager would do that? It was just absolutely ridiculous.
It's not the first time he's done that as well. There was another game this season where he took the fullbacks off.
Yeah, I know, he took both of them off in that game. I think that was like fairly recently, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And and then with Mata coming on, like, I understand bringing Mata on, but for Di Maria, it's like he's done it before where he's played crap all game, but then I think it was against Chelsea. Yeah, he was useless against Chelsea the whole game, and yet he was the one that did the good crossing, the good free kicking that got us the goal. So world-class players, even if they're playing badly, can still make the difference. And it's like a prime example is actually using Di Maria as well. If you remember in the World Cup with Argentina against Switzerland, he was having like one of the worst performances in World Cup history. He had like a 20% pass completion or something, and he was playing absolutely woeful. Yet in injury time, he popped up and scored the winning goal. So no one remembers about him playing badly. They just remember him changing the game. And world-class players, they can still change a game. So I do not get why you would take off our most creative player and arguably our best player when we need a goal, and then you bring on 2 fullbacks. It was just, especially like with Valencia, I know he did it like defensively because of McNair, but as you said, in a game like that, especially, I want McNair to like do well and get a run in the team, but I think it would have been better to play him at home to Sunderland than in that away game. And so it's just like a waste of a substitution to bring it on, so it like already cuts down our subs.
He's a very stubborn man, and I'm just going to come on to that, but there's one of the best comments I've ever seen there that defines Michael Carrick from Who Knows. He says, Carrick protects the defence so the attacking players can use their flair. That's it, folks. It's that simple. That's what he does. Nobody else does it better than him in the Premier League. But Louis van Gaal is a stubborn man, definitely, and I think it's a problem, and I'll come to Kev about this. Somebody tweeted this up yesterday. I'd never considered it, and you know what? They're absolutely spot on. We all think he's accepted this unworkable 5-3-2 doesn't work and moved to a 4-4-2 diamond. He hasn't. You watch Manchester United like yesterday, and Daley Blind drops into the back 3, the fullbacks push on, and we're still doing a 5-3-2 with Di Maria, Di Maria, Fellaini was dropping instead of the head of the diamond, Herrera, and then the 2 up front. He's still doing it. It's never going to work, is it? And also, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, Kev, was I don't think, and I said this yesterday, I said Louis van Gaal is not a United manager. I don't think he buys into or understands the history of our club and what it's about. I think he just wants to do it the Louis van Gaal way, which is absolutely fine if you're Jose Mourinho and you respect English football and understand how it works. But when it doesn't work and you have to start getting little bits of paper out to Sam Allardyce, I just really worry.
And it comes down to this word again, stubbornness, because that's what he seems to be about. And that's a good point there about the cracks are starting to show in Louis van Gaal. We see him in these press conferences, and he comes across as this, like it's me against, the world, which is great because we are used to that. We have been with Sir Alex Ferguson, but the cracks shown when he did respond to Sam Allardyce's tongue-in-cheek comment about the long ball thing, United playing long balls. He didn't have to respond to that. And I just think it showed a slight weakness in him, the fact that he prepared a dossier, went away and actually spent time, I don't know who had to do all the analysis on it, and then actually brought it into the next press conference. to make his point, to Sam Allardyce. And I tweeted at the time and said, I mean, God help us, if we get back into a title challenge next season, and he's going head to head against Mourinho or Pellegrini, they'll eat him alive if he's shown that kind of weakness already. I mean, he did not have to rise to that, and I don't think Allardyce meant anything by it anyway. It was a tongue-in-cheek comment, and there was just no need for him to even entertain it.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few fans were saying, "Oh, fair play to him for doing it," but you know what? We did it when Benitez did it, and when Kevin Keegan did it. We knew what that was all about for Ferguson, and as soon as he did it, I thought exactly the same thing. I personally think he's a very arrogant man, and he's very stubborn, and if it worked out, and if it still works out, that's a great trait to have. But at the moment, he just seems so out of touch about what Manchester United are about, so out of touch about what English football's about. He's still playing 5-3-2, and people need to wake up to that stubbornness there. Herrera, I mean, he's just not match fit, but he still stands out as probably our best player at the moment. Massive problems, but we do need to talk about a few positives. We will. There's something I do want to touch on as well. But I mean, I'll go to you, Alex. We've got Sunderland next week. You'd expect 3 points there.
I'd expect us to absolutely trash them, but I've thought that for quite a lot of games this season, and we get to the actual game and play absolutely useless. So I thought we'd trash Burnley, but on paper, not on paper, in terms of result, we basically did, but the result doesn't tell the whole performance, and we've already drawn with Sunderland this season, haven't we? And it's just like thinking about that with our away form. It was bad back then, but you thought, oh, it'll improve, but it hasn't. And the worrying thing about Van Gaal is that we keep saying we'll improve, and I've always thought like, oh, we've been playing badly, but in December or by January we'll start clicking. But now we're in late February and we haven't started clicking, and I can't really think of any performance that has been from start to finish, as Van Gaal, even to be fair to him, actually admits from start to finish a 100% good performance for an entire game, which is really worrying because I'll say it right now, if I'm being honest, I don't think we have a chance of getting top four. And when I look at the teams around us, how they're playing, the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs and even Southampton, I think we'll be lucky to even get the Europa League with the way we're playing. And if you see our next run of if you see our next run of games, it makes for very, very uncomfortable viewing when we've been playing this badly against the likes of Burnley and Swansea. In our next few games we have Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, City. It's really worrying.
Well, Link Sink says there, even if we draw against Sunderland, that could effectively end our top four ambitions. Mitch on the preview show that we do on Thursday at 9 o'clock said Swansea 2-1. I just don't know what's going to happen against Sunderland, and I struggle to find any other positives. Alex is spot on. I know March is very, very bad. We've got a few home games against the top teams like Manchester City and Tottenham and Arsenal. But I tell you what I suspect coming, Kev, and I don't like to say it as a United fan, I think somebody, one of the better teams, is going to give us an absolute good hiding.
Yeah. And it's worrying because before the Preston game, when we got drawn out the hat, even if we're looking now ahead to this Arsenal FA Cup game, I mean, it's got to be a slight worry coming up against a team as organised as Arsenal. But yeah, I mean, I seen somebody tweeted the other day, actually the exact same thing that Alex has just said, but trying to take a positive out of it by saying, you know, we've got City coming up, we've got Liverpool, we've got, you know, Arsenal, Chelsea. You know, it's in our hands. But the way we're playing at the minute, you know, how can that be a positive that it's still in our hands? Because if anything, we've got to be worried about coming up against, you know, the teams that are above us, because we've been exposed by teams that are, you know, lower in the league. So God knows what's going to happen when we come up against these, you know, the teams above us. But the only thing you wish for or hope for as a United fan is that the players step up now. I mean, they'll be hurting. You're not telling me players like Rooney and that, you know, don't give a toss. That they'll obviously know what's going on. But we just got to hope they pull together now and put some kind of run together that keeps us in the top four, and hopefully we have a good FA Cup run as well.
Yeah, DJ Nelpin there just said call him mad, but he thinks we might cause a couple of upsets in the bigger games. I don't think that's mad at all. When you look at the squad we've got, we should be at home beating these teams. The problem is we're just set up so badly, and there's so much tinkering, and the manager seems to just be Mad King Louis at the moment. But one thing I'd just say, we've got quite a few people viewing. Could you just all click the like video, because that'd be really appreciated. It's in our hands. Yes, it is still in our hands. We are still fourth by some sort of miracle, really. But we've got some tough fixtures coming up. It was in our hands when we were 10 points clear of Liverpool on Boxing Day and 5 points clear of Arsenal. I think Southampton will fall away. I think Arsenal are always going to finish top four, and it's Chelsea and City are definitely first and second. Liverpool were always the threat. We've let them within 2 points, and we've got to go to Anfield. I can't see us winning Anfield, so effectively I think Liverpool at the moment probably are 1 point ahead of us, and then it's just... And they're in form. They're the best team in form from January. I think we're clutching at straws. I think we've got a really bad run in March. What price, Alex? Another April sacking, because we could be out of the cup and well out of the top four come April.
I don't think he'll get sacked, even if we don't get top four, to be honest. I think we've committed to him. He has the track record to back it up, but I think, as like some pundits have actually said, that I think he's been surprised with just how competitive the Premier League is and maybe underestimated it. But I read somewhere that it's not really saying much, because as you said, they're the informed team, but I read somewhere that Liverpool's running, like from now till the end of the season, in terms of like league positions, is actually harder than ours. But I thought they would drop points today, and then they didn't. So they're the informed team. They have City. I don't know whether it's home or away, but they have City in their next game. So it's at Anfield, isn't it? So they could potentially lose that. City now have like smelt blood on Chelsea with them dropping points. So I think they'll be really up for it. So we can only keep our fingers crossed with that one, but it is really worrying. I think, as you say, sorry to always be negative, but I think we will lose to Liverpool. I think we'll lose to Chelsea away. I think, like you said, how you're waiting for some top team to give us a real good hiding. I think it's either going to be City at Old Trafford, or again, like the 6-1, or it's going to be when we go away to Chelsea, because as someone said in the comments, Chelsea at home, they always attack. It's not going to be like at Old Trafford when they were conservative with their play. They will go all out with us, and I just worry about whoever we play at right back, Hazard getting them sent off with all his trickery, and just they could really run riot. And what we have to remember about the previous game we played them is that Diego Costa was either injured, he was injured for that game, and now they have him back, and he's a real tough to handle.
I mean, looking at the comments there, Lewis Jones says it pains him to see all this negativity with United. I don't think it's negativity at all. I think it's realism, mate, to be honest. We will be positive, and we have been positive, but I think at the moment we're at a point in the season with Van Gaal where it's very difficult to find excuses for him. We've already done that, and you can't find excuses for him. His selections are mad, his tactics are ridiculous, and he doesn't understand the English Premier League. Kev, I said there about Louis Van Gaal being sacked in April. Probably won't happen, but we could all be over by then, realistically. I think he'll be sacked in the summer if he doesn't get top four, but I'll give you your thoughts.
Yeah, after last season under Moyes, we all bought into this theory that he was given like a 6-year contract. He was going to be given time to build. But I think this is modern day football now, and everyone says it's the United way. United don't sack managers. Well, yeah, because we've had Alex Ferguson, at the helm for 25 plus years. I think the modern day game has changed that much now. And I'm not saying we're like Chelsea. You look at the model they put together there of sacking managers every sort of season or other season. But I do think it was always going to be difficult to replace Sir Alex Ferguson, and I always thought it might take a couple of managers before we get the one that could sort of steady the ship. And Moyes fell at the first hurdle. Surely Champions League qualification was the main target for him. He did not achieve it, so he was out the door. So now you have to be looking, and with, like I said earlier, with the money that he spent, if the board have backed him, I mean, you think of any other job. If I went into a job and I said, listen, I need to bring my own staff in, I need all this money, and I bring my staff in, and within a year, I'm not getting, the results, and, the staff they're not working, then I'd be sacked. And I do think it is a possibility now. And I'm certainly not jumping on a bandwagon or saying, just because a few other people might be saying it, but I do think it is a possibility, but only for the fact that this is modern day football, and this is the way clubs are worked now. It's a sad thing, and it's a vulgar word to use, but football is a business. And if Van Gaal doesn't get the results, and he finishes without an FA Cup and finishes outside the top four, it will be probably not even a football decision. They'll look at it more as a business decision,
Exactly.
financially. I mean, we spoke about this Adidas deal. If he doesn't make the top four, that 75 million a season is going to drop to, I think, 50 million. That's 25 million, that was guaranteed, over 10 years. They're going to lose each season if they don't finish in the top four. It's absolutely vital that United finish in the top four from, obviously from a fan's point of view, from a business point of view as well. And that's, what the shareholders, the board will be looking at.
The Kojo77 says, Mark, do you still want Koeman after today? Basically, I said he'll be sacked in the summer, and I'll say why in a moment. And somebody said, well, why? If you want him to be sacked, you must know who you want as a replacement. I don't. And my answer to that was, if I come home tomorrow morning because I've forgotten something for work and my wife's in the bed with the milkman, obviously she's an inept cow and she's out the door. But I haven't got a ready-made wife there to come in the place. Louis van Gaal should be sacked if he doesn't achieve what he achieves. But who comes in, I don't know. But what I would say is, and I'm not having this conversation, and I'm not saying he should be sacked, but I think if we do get somebody else in, Koeman wouldn't be a bad shout, because we need somebody who understands the Premier League, and I think that's been Van Gaal's biggest problem. But we've been there. The reason he'll be sacked, Kev touched on it there, Manchester United are in financial turmoil because of what Moyes did. If we don't get top four this year, we're even more. If we don't get top four next year, it's big trouble. It's big trouble. Forget United in the top four for a while, because the amount of money we will lose is catastrophic. It will be a business decision, like Kev said. In the summer, if he doesn't get top four with what he's got, he should be sacked. But he will be sacked because financially we cannot afford to not get it next year. And if you are a businessman, and most of us do have jobs, if you're a businessman, you look at that and you think, right, I've given him £150 million and he's failed to get what was a very straightforward top four, and it was a straightforward top four this season. Do I risk giving him another £150 million when he hasn't been able to do it in a season at all, and we're presuming he's carried on the same as he has? He's gone in the summer. 100% he will be sacked. And anybody who thinks he will stay on in the summer if he's not got top four really, really needs to have a wake-up call, because he'll be gone. We can't afford. There's no risk. We'll probably go and spend as much money as we can to get somebody like Mourinho or something like that, because we have got to get Champions League football this season. And if we don't get it this season, by any means next season, we've got to get it. It's as simple as that. I'll come to you, Alex, though. Let's try and find some remedy here. How does he fix it? Between now and the end of the season, he'll probably carry on being stubborn and experimenting and trying to implement whatever system he's trying to do, because none of us know what it is. How does he fix it between now and the end of the season?
I think with just a bit of consistency, like I sound like a broken record with saying what I've been saying on Twitter a lot, and I've said it in this. I just think we need to just go back to basics and just play with wingers again. Like I said, I'd go 4-2-3-1, and we just need that width. It's worked for us for years and years and years. And like someone else said in the comment section, that he knows his own philosophy, but his philosophy doesn't necessarily match United. And I just think that slow possession-based football works in mainland Europe, but it just doesn't work in the Premier League. It's all about pace and speed and everything. So he just needs to know his best team, and he needs to stick with it. And if RVP is out for however long and we play well without him, he cannot justify putting him straight back in the moment that he's back. Because we just need to find a team that works and stick with it, no matter who. He just shouldn't be afraid to drop whoever. He just needs to just stick with the same team, not chop and change it. Like, for example, with the McNair playing in, even though I wanted him to get a run of games, he had Valencia in as his regular right back, and then he's just randomly swapped him out for a Premier League game. And it's not like Valencia played badly or anything. We just need to stick with the same team, same back line. It's like no other team changes their back line when everyone's fit. but they're not. We blame our defence, but they're constantly playing with different people every single game. It's like they're not going to learn each other's game and cover for each other if they're playing with a different partner every single game.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think there's way too much tinkering in it, and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, Tyler Mitchell's obviously in a bit of a comment war with people there who will keep going 2 losses in 20 games. We've covered that, folks. Look at the 20 games. Look at the points we've dropped. It's not good enough. I'd rather we'd lost 4 of those games and won 3 or 4 more because we'd be in a much better situation. Losing 2 games in 20 means absolutely nothing if you're drawing and dropping points against teams that you should be beating. And also, what I would say is that if at the end of the season we're not in the top 4 and Liverpool are, I think he will struggle to get past that with the fans, much like Moyes struggled with us getting beaten badly at Old Trafford, because we had 10 points on them on Boxing Day. I've said it 3 times tonight, and if we let Liverpool get top 4, I don't know, but they look good. Sturridge, Sterling, this new lad, they're all quick. It's quick football. How do we get it back, Kev? I mean, what would you do? I don't know what Louis van Gaal's going to do.
Like I said earlier, I just think it's consistency. I still can't believe he says that he doesn't know his strongest team. He just needs to, there is a strongest team. And like Alex said as well, we need wingers. None of this 3-5-2. We don't need wing backs. Just go back to a flat back 4. If he gets the midfield mix right, I mean, Daley Blind picks himself. I personally wouldn't have Fellaini anywhere near the midfield. I wouldn't have him up top. We've got better players. We can fit in and around. We've got Di Maria on the left. You've got Januzaj that you could play on the right. We're blessed with talent in the final third of the field. It is not a problem. It's just getting them to work and getting them to play in a system that they're all familiar with. And I've seen, was it Match of the Day last night? I mean, Jermaine Genius was on about a time when he played for under Capello. And he said he played in midfield and he was driving forward with the ball. And he said that Capello was at the side of the pitch, shouting at him, "You've moved out of your zone, you don't carry the ball forward." And Jermaine Genius said, it was a real problem for him because as a player, he was a midfielder who wanted to drive forward with the ball. But Capello's Italian way of thinking was you had a zone in the pitch and you didn't leave it. Maybe this is what Van Gaal is trying to implement at United. But it's obviously proving very difficult because players are not used to it. And football is a game, it's a beautiful game where you want to express yourself freely. And if you're held back, if you've got shackles on, how are you supposed to do that? How are you supposed to burst forward? How are you supposed to produce these moments of, sublime football where we say, oh, that was breathtaking, if you have these shackles on and you're not allowed to perform?
Yeah, I mean, Imhotep said, X said there, why is Raphael not playing? I mean, if it was me, and we have got Ryan Giggs sat next to Louis van Gaal, he won't do it because he's stubborn and he wants to bring his own way in. But I think what I would be saying if I was Giggs, I'd be saying, look, we're about level with everybody for top 4. We've got to get top 4. I know you want to play this possession game football, but it isn't working. Break the shackles off, go 4-4-2, play with width, put Falcao up front or James Wilson with Rooney in behind. Let's get some width with Young and Di Maria. Let's play Herrera and Blind or Carrick when they're back in the midfield. Put Raphael, Shaw, 2 centre-backs. Let's go 4-4-2 and we'll get top 4 because the players will just fall into the way they've always played. And we can revisit this in the summer a year on. He won't do that, I don't think, but if he did do that, we're just going to let the shackles off and get people playing how they want to do it. It's too late now. We can't keep experimenting because we've seen what's happened. We're just blowing points left, right and centre. And as Kev said, with Swansea in the second half, we were dominating that game without creating anything. And I just think we've got to go back to the United way. And if Louis van Gaal isn't going to go the United way, then for me, long term, he's not the right man anyway. But he must be given time and he must be given the season. I just very quickly wanted to just say something. I saw a fantastic goal by Nani that somebody posted up today. We've not really ever touched on him, Kev. Your thoughts on Nani? Is he the sort of player that we should be? We're paying massive wages for him to not be part of the team.
Yeah, I've seen the clip earlier. I mean, fantastic goal. We know he's capable of it. We've seen him do it for United. My only my criticism of Nani is that he is not consistent, and a lot of people hit back at me and say, well, name any other winger that's consistent in the Premier League, which, I mean, Nani, he started life at Old Trafford well. But like I said, he's just not consistent. And fantastic goal he scored tonight, but it's in the Portuguese league. You know, it's like the old set. You know, would he do it on a cold night in in Stoke, on a cold windy night in January in Stoke? And I don't think that half Nani's problem is the battle. He's got no fight in him. He is a flair player, and we get moments of brilliance from him. We've seen he can do it. He's not consistent, and maybe we will see him back next season or at some stage when his loan finishes. But from a personal point of view, I don't think we will see him. I don't see where he'd fit in, and he's a player that I've never really warmed to. Or no, I don't think we'll see him back.
And very quickly, Kev, just before I move to the next thing, top four. Do you think it's on? If you had to put your neck on the line.
Well, I've already put my neck on the line by saying O'Hara Fellaini we got Old Trafford next season. So, of course, I'm sticking with it, and I'm not Van Gaal out. I wouldn't, I'm not saying I wouldn't be as fickle to say that now. I'm just saying let's judge him at the end of the season and see where we are. The Van Persie injury now could open the door. If he wants to be stubborn and leave Falcao on the bench, we might see Wilson and Rooney up front. Who knows? That could be the future for United if Falcao, United don't take the option up to sign Falcao. So it could be a blessing. We could see them up front, and yeah, I think we'll push on. But my only worry now is, like we spoke about, we've got very difficult games. It doesn't matter whether they're at home. We've got City at home. They're going to be very, very tough games, and it all goes off how the other teams are performing. They are. We're not at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, King James is pretty much what you said there, Kev. Nani is playing in an absolute poverty league at the moment, and Kenny Baxter says Nani's had his chance, which is fair enough. Alex, what's your thoughts then? Do you think top four? I don't know whether you'd already said it, to be fair.
Sorry to be pessimistic, but if I was to have my neck on the line, I would say we have absolutely no chance at the moment. Liverpool, Arsenal are playing well. Well, Arsenal actually aren't playing well, sorry, but they're starting to get their results. And I just think with our running, we'd be lucky. I said it in the comment. If we get to the end of March and we're still in the top four, then I'll believe that we can do it. But currently, I really don't think we have much chance in the slightest. I think if we keep playing how we're playing, we could even end up finishing 7th again. So I'd rather, some people will probably be against it, but I'd rather us have Europa League than absolutely nothing. Because at least then we might have a chance, if we spend more money, we might have a chance of winning that next season. And even if we play useless again, we can get in the Champions League like that. Or at least we'll have European football. It's not the Champions League, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah. I mean, Genome Soldier just saying there that Nani's ship has sailed, which I think is fair enough. If we don't get top four, it will be Louis van Gaal's fault. We should have got it, and if he'd played the right system and everything, we would have comfortably got it. If we'd played 4-4-2 with these players from the start of the season, the United way, we would have comfortably got it. Fellaini's got off the hook tonight. Martin was meant to be on the show. He wanted to have a go at Fellaini. I think he's a player off the bench. When we went 2-1 down to Swansea yesterday, he wanted Fellaini to come on for the last 20 minutes. Shouldn't be playing from the start. Not a midfielder. Said it all season. That's not fickle. That's called consistent. Thanks for all those comments. I mean, I know Alex has been commenting, but there's loads of comments in tonight. You've been absolutely fantastic. Do tune in next week because that's what it's all about. We try and pick them out and we use them while we're live. Subscribe to the channel and do like the video. Thanks tonight. It's been really good. It's not negativity. It's reality. We're worried. We're Manchester United fans, and if we were all sat there all happy, and those fans who are, I do wonder why you are happy, because there's a massive list we've been through tonight of reasons as to why we're worried, and we're worried because we love Manchester United, and you should be worried. There's loads of reasons to be worried. None of us have said he should be sacked. He will be sacked in the summer, and I personally would be happy with that. But we'll have to just wait and see. Subscribe to the channel. Got a nice little positive thing for you on Tuesday night that I'm filming, probably tomorrow or Tuesday. It'll be up at 6 o'clock. Bit tongue in cheek and a bit of a laugh. But is someone interrupting me? I'll go to you, Kev.
No, I'm not interrupting. What you had to say.
All right, mate.
You didn't do the shirt competition, by the way. Not the shirt competition, the Cantona print competition.
Oh yes, the Cantona print competition. Getting a bit of echo at the moment, so sorry for that. We will do the Cantona print this week, probably tomorrow 9 o'clock. Keep an eye on Twitter and we'll announce it tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We did that with the Duncan Edwards book as well. The two lads are Kev. I just want to say goodbye and give you Twitter feed.
Yeah, me Twitter directly on there. If you want to give me a follow. And there's a link to the Manchester is Red blog, which I did write up for also to other stuff from magazines. So if you want to have a read of that, have a look. Thanks for watching.
Sorry, we seem to have hit real feedback on this, but Alex, if you can just quickly start yours.
Yeah, so thanks again, guys, for the show. Sorry if it's been a bit negative, but we've just been realistic and given our honest thoughts. And yeah, you can see my info around there for Twitter. So yeah, give me a follow.
And do follow us on Twitter. We've got loads of prizes to away, and there's loads of stuff going on Twitter. With the United stand, it's all about United fans, good and bad. It's never abusive from us. We'll always listen. So try not to be abusive back. But if you want to do that, you just get ignored. Do join us. Do subscribe to the channel. Do like the videos. Do get commenting. And there's always loads of comments after here that we do get involved in replying. Watch us on Thursday night. We'll have a game. We'll be back next Sunday with the next panel at 9 o'clock, and hopefully have more too as well. Thanks everybody for watching. Brilliant comments on there today. I think we've covered everything, and I don't think you can argue what we said. It's not negative, it's real. Come on, United.